So my name is Helen Patton. I'm an advisory CISO at Cisco Secure. I've been in this role about a year. Prior to being in this role, I was the Chief Information Security Officer at The Ohio State University here in Columbus, Ohio. I was in this role for 8 years, which was way longer than I expected to be in the role. But higher education is super complicated and a super great place to work. So I really enjoyed the job, but it was a long time. And then prior to that, I was 10 years at JP Morgan Chase. So I went from financial sector to higher education sector. And now I'm back at Cisco and I am doing the vendor thing. So joined the dark side, not doing operational security work anymore, but working with a whole bunch of CISOs across the planet to help them with their operational work. So I'm enjoying being on the journey of cybersecurity careers. The most important skill that someone in cyber needs is to be able to continuously learn. The environment's changing super fast. It's not just the tech, it's the business side is changing, how we communicate is changing, how our data is handled and what kind of data is handled is changing. And so as a security professional, you've got to have an inherent curiosity about what's going on in the environment, both technically and politically and socially. And so this constant curiosity, I think, is the key skill for anybody who's in this industry. Most of my experience has been with external nation state actors who've been trying to get intellectual property from the organizations I've been part of. And I would like to tell you that there's this super secret squirrel technology thing that they did, but really it was more around social engineering. So documented cases, for example, of taking research that academics have done, packaging it up in a really nice email saying, hey, I've read your stuff and I'd really like to be able to have you answer some questions about it. And they package that document back up with some malware and email it back to the academic, and there you go. So not particularly technically rigorous, actually, but definitely from a social engineering perspective, hitting all the right buttons and really hard to defend against. I think there's two consequences of a big data breach. The most consequential is when that event actually impacts availability. I think we're still concerned about confidentiality and privacy and all the things that go along with that, but really the business impact is when you can't do business anymore. So I think one consequence of availability is a big deal. I think the second impact of a big breach like that is now you have organizational leadership who really understand cyber risk and information and security risk in ways they didn't before. And so I think one of the benefits, one of the good consequences of a breach is that people wake up and start to know what security professionals have been trying to say for a really long time. It's not the optimal way to get that learning, but it is nonetheless a learning that happens after a big breach, and it's good.